Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, wherever you are in this world. How are y'all doing? I missed y'all. I'm so excited to see everybody. Um, what a month. What a month. We'll talk about that. And you're gonna see me, and just to let you know, obviously Mercury's retrograde, and it has been interesting, and I'm going to talk about something that happened, but I just hope everybody's doing great. We're still under under the window of the new moon that just happened a few days ago. So I hope you're really, really, we're still feeling the influence of that. And remember, like any of these new moons, like you will feel the strongest energies within like the first week of it, right? So, but you can give it 2 weeks. But remember, we also have some other great things happening as well with the Sun trine Saturn, Sun trine Neptune. But all this Leo energy is just really great. You're probably feeling really fired up, right? And so I hope that oh, there goes the Mercury retrograde hiccup. So anyway, today the moon actually is in Virgo. So that's you're probably Venus is sextiling Chiron too. The moon is sextiling Jupiter, isn't it? So that's sweet. That's great. It's bringing you great joy and optimism in the work you're doing, and just being of. I think one thing that a lot of people forget about, that Virgo energy is being service to others. With Venus sextiling Chiron, you may be doing some healing, especially with like relationships. It's a big day. It's a powerful month. Okay. Never forget the power of the moon as well. It's so even, and this is why I always encourage you to watch for your moon signs as well. So important in your chart. Your moon is going to be it's just always important to watch. And especially if you're Virgo moon, but because we do have the South Node in Virgo, right? And if you have a Pisces moon, we have the North Node in Pisces, and we will be having. I think it's. I gotta pull things up, but the moon will conjunct the South Node. I think that's tonight, maybe tomorrow morning, in Virgo, and so that affects everybody in different ways. Remember that everyone's always impacted by that, but Mars is still lingering. Luckily not as tight as it was last weekend. So wow, talk about some energies that we've been going through. We even had Venus square the nodes, but we had so much energy, and we're still going through a lot of energy. And again, just watch for your moon sign. The moon is so important. It's just as important as your rising and your sun. Like I have Saturn opposite my moon. I've had Neptune opposite my moon since like last year, right? And getting a little bit of a breather, but then Saturn's come in, and Saturn's opposite my moon. He's going to come in really hard this August. And then Neptune will be coming back, because remember, they're retrograde, Saturn and Neptune, and they're both opposite my Virgo moon. But anyway, it can be challenging, but it like increases, let's say, my responsibilities. Yeah. But Neptune opposite the moon, some people, based on your chart, it really just depends on how you handle these energies that are happening every day, every second of the day. There's always something, right, specific to you. And Neptune opposite my moon, that's just easy for me. Okay. I know some people are like, whoa, but it does, me being an empath and an intuitive, it just really increases that. So it amplifies that energy today. Venus is on top of my Jupiter, so I'm feeling really good. How are y'all doing? One thing is Mercury, like I said, is retrograde. And as you know, Uranus is in Gemini as of July 7th. And so I think that thank you for being part of my journey. And you've seen what I've been going through, maybe. on my Instagram. I've been doing community posts. I maybe have even mentioned some things in your forecast, but I did not have a July. I looked today. I was like, oh my gosh, it's July 27th. I didn't have a July with Uranus on my ascendant. And it's the very first, let's say the very first long, right? Uranus being an outer planet, like really long aspect that where it made me realize, wow, astrology is so dang real. And again, it's just something that's very indescribable. I can't really describe it. But everyone's going to feel Uranus and Gemini in some way, right? And it really depends on your chart, really depends on your sign. I've talked about this in your forecast, but if you are, for instance, because Uranus moved into Gemini on July 7th, it means with me being a 0-degree Gemini rising, Uranus at 0 degrees in Gemini, I felt it the strongest. Anyone that is 0-degree Gemini rising, or even 1 degree, or even like 29-degree Taurus rising. Yeah, we feel it the most. We feel it the strongest. So we kind of get to tell you how it's like, but again, in a different way. Everyone's going to feel it a different way. It's just really strong when it's on your ascendant. And you saw what it did to me. And it started June 29th. Uranus technically has been on my ascendant since like June 10th, 11th. But once it moved into Gemini, that's when I was like, okay, I get this. So every day this month, there's always been some surprise. Uranus is surprises, the unexpected. And, it came from, and Uranus, yeah, it's in Gemini. So a lot about the mind, changing the way that you see things as well. You having your breakthroughs, that's another thing, but you've seen it from the get-go. It was really, really, and because, I am a Gemini rising, it means Mercury is my chart ruler. And so that's also very interesting because Mercury is a lower octave of Uranus. So it kind of felt like a little bit of a tag team. And so I think that you saw it came from me. Things were just left and right, unexpected surprises every day. And again, I started a list. I think there was a community post that I put out there on just some things that had happened. I think you were there, even just little things like for the Great Awakener. I mean, you saw what Uranus did that, but all for the better and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But you did see, I think in my last live stream, I talked about the email sign up that was on that, on the greatawakener.com, and how there was a glitch that I had to fix. And it took some time, but then it was fixed. But then just hours later, it just decided to go sideways again. And this month, for some strange reason, was the month Ruby decided to wake me up at 6 a.m. on the dot, sometimes 5 in the morning. And I'm going to bed around 1, 2, working late. And so I haven't gotten any sleep this month. And I finally did this weekend. I'm very excited, really excited. But there was a lot that happened even last weekend with we had that Mars conjuncting the South Node in Virgo with Venus squaring the nodes. I want to hear from y'all. What happened? I mean, it was, remember, I'm a Virgo moon, so that clearly has an impact on me. And Venus squaring the nodes. I think I talked about that in the last live stream, all the nodal, things that I'm going through right now. North node, South node, the sextiles and the squares, and Venus is in Gemini, right? And so anyway, I think that you saw what happened to my leg. It happened. What's funny is that it did happen in my calf, my right calf, and then my right, and then my left. And that was when it was like when I couldn't walk. So something else happened that I didn't tell you all about, but I had to go to the doctor for something else. And I'm currently in physical therapy, and I'm going to be in physical therapy for some time. And then also just surprise after surprise after surprise after surprise. That's Uranus on my body. And then just even, my mom's dog passed. And that, that was really heartbreaking. That happened last weekend. And so it has been a very, very, very rough month for me. It has been, and that's why I've been a little bit just like, okay, I need to take some time off. But I even what's happening now, and it's so funny because I told you I have a moderator now. Remember, I've had these mic issues. And so I'm just going to make this story really short. We got on a call, and he saw in real time, we were going through my computer to try to fix the mic issue and why the volume was low for some videos. And what happened, it happened again last week for many of your videos, but he was able to fix that. Thankfully. Thank you, Brad. He saw in real time, because we're doing a screen share, the volume knob just go down by itself. And you can see me. My hands, I was like, you see, I'm not doing this. So this is what I'm talking about. And this is also like overlapping Mercury retrograde at the same time. Like, you just cannot make this up. And so what I'm doing is I have the video, my camera on my computer, but it's linked up to this laptop with a mic linked up to the laptop. And it's the hardest thing to do because I keep looking down at your comments down here, but I have to. And so basically, I just have to get a new computer. I just have to get a new computer. And so there are, here's the thing. Everything's fine. Everything's great. But I'm coming out of it. And I think that I have said in the past, whenever, especially when Uranus changes signs or has an aspect, like, you really feel it, right? You really feel it. But at the same time with Mercury retrograde, wow, things have gone a little bit sideways. And so it has been a very interesting month for me. And that's the other thing is, like, even with Mercury retrograde, even with Uranus going into Gemini, when you have this in your consciousness, and that's what I say all the time, it has when it has less of an impact on your frequency, right? When you know that there is the chance or the possibility, not that I'm saying anything will happen, right? Especially with Mercury retrograde, it can cause delays and miscommunication. There's been a lot of miscommunication with a lot of stuff that I've been working on, but knowing that this is happening, it has less of an impact on you, and you become more responsive rather than reactive. But I just wanted to give you an update because I really, really appreciate all your comments. It means so much to me, and it really does help me get through a lot of this. And remember, it's the South Node is in Virgo up until 2026. So for everybody, you are going to go through a lot of experiences and changes, especially with what Virgo represents, the archetypes of Virgo, but also for, every sign feels it differently. But just think in terms of health and work, those would be the main things for everybody, for the collective. And so just try to avoid burnout energy, right? Because that can be really burnout-y. And it can be, being very hard on yourself, that perfectionist energy, trying to get everything right. And in some cases, it's out of your control. We're talking about the nodes. These are the nodes of fate. And so when things go a little bit sideways, always just take a deep breath. And that's what I've been doing. I've just been making sure that everything, again, things can go sideways, and you have to take care of that. take care of it, but to a point where you're not like me up until like working 4 hours on something you have to fix and things like that. But again, it's different for Virgo moons. That's just how we are. We have that perfectionist energy anyway. But the point of my story is basically like Uranus has been doing a really great job of breaking me down. But at the same time, I'm keeping my cool. I'm staying frosty and I'm out of the hard part of it. Okay. And it's just one of those things that, I've known for years that this was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to come in this hard. But I knew for years it was going to happen. And so everything that you go through, all the challenges you go through, those challenges are there for a reason. And it has, and again, I'll talk about a lot of it later, but it just makes you stronger. It just makes you stronger. That's what challenges are. Everyone goes through challenges every day. And so I just, again, thank you so much for all your comments, our emails. I love it. Y'all are amazing. Y'all really help me get through this. And flow state, right? Hemisync. I've talked about that. I've been doing a lot of that. Listening to certain types of music. We've talked about this, like the frequencies. And so that's always really nice. And it's really brought a lot of attention to my Dharma. And, that's, your life's purpose, right? As well, a lot of things. I went really deep. I had moments where I went really deep. Okay. And so just know that Mars is moving into Libra soon. And that's the other thing. July's almost over. There's so much left for the next few days. And then we enter August. Did you see your August forecast? It's going to be a big month. Okay. It's got to be a really, really big month. So just, there's got to be some changes. Okay. And I think the big takeaway is remember what I said, just with that prism portal, that rare trine that we're experiencing right now, like you're really going to feel it in August. And so remember in September, that's when, Saturn is going back into Pisces. It's kind of nice, actually, after September is eclipse season, right? And when I say eclipse season, here's the thing. That's the solar eclipse in Virgo. Okay. Lunar eclipse in Pisces. We've been on the Pisces Virgo axis since January. And with this prism portal, this very new energy, right? Remember, take inspired action now, please, in terms of where you want to be by February 2026. But you have to see these eclipses and the North Node, South Node. It's kind of like currents pushing you. Remember, they're on the nodes of fate. Yeah. And they're going to be here in Pisces Virgo until July 2026. But remember, February 2026 is when we, start seeing eclipses in Aquarius Leo. That's the next, these eclipses, the nodes, the 18 months, right? And so we are Pisces Virgo. It's a mutable axis, meaning there's a lot of adapting that you're going to be doing right now up until that point. And it's just asking you to be flexible because you're going to be going through change. And it's really, really big change. And that's why you see that your life is changing enormously, especially with not just the nodes, but with a lot of these rare alignments that we've not seen in our lifetime. But you should be adapting, right? It makes it easier for you to adapt as long as you don't resist it, as long as you don't resist the change, and as long as you are being your authentic self and doing everything for the greater good. Okay. Remember, these are the nodes of the moon, Rahu, Ketu. All right. The head and the tail of the dragon. And that's just the points of, where eclipses happen. Right. So, one thing that I did not say, and remember the North Node in Pisces right now, that pretty much is the, collective unconscious. Remember I said consciousness, all of this, it's changing, right? It's changing. We're expanding our consciousness. And a lot of that Virgo energy being the tail of the dragon, it's releasing any of that analytical, hypercritical, being hard on yourself, that type of energy. And even with Saturn in the mix, with Neptune in the mix, all of that, it's just like I've been saying, out with the old, in with the new, out with the old, in with the new. There is a new you emerging right now as I speak. And so it really is saying what is outdated. Okay. What's outdated? What are some patterns? What are some habits? What are some things that, places that you're in where you intuitively know, like, oh my goodness, I'm having my 8 of Cups moment. There's something better for me, and I know it. That leads directly to the 9 of Cups. Yeah? You like how I threw that tarot in there? But anyway, just focus on this heart-based living. Remember, Leo is the heart. All right. And I did give you a heads up. Yeah, we are going to have that first, the solar eclipse in Aquarius in February 2026. That's when we have the Saturn Neptune conjunction in Aries at 0 degrees, the world axis, the first time. But I didn't tell you that these eclipses, the Pisces, Virgo, yeah, you're going to feel that all 2026 as well. It's just, there's an overlap. In fact, until 2027. All right. That would be the last one when we have a lunar eclipse in Virgo in February 2027. And so there's a lot of just learning lessons and new life lessons and this new you and this other you, just right. All right. So, and that's the other thing, because I'm looking at my camera and my laptop's down here. I can't even see your comments, but let me just, okay. Anyway, there you go. Love y'all. Great to see you, Carrie. Great to see you, everybody, all of y'all here. So, okay. Here's the other thing. Yeah, there's lots happening in the news right now. So much happening, actually, but it's hard to keep up. And I've told you many, many moons ago, trust your intuition on what you're hearing, because I've talked about polarities, right? So it's getting to that point. And a lot of this is building up and leading to, the Great Reset, or what I've called the Great Collapse, or, you can call it the Great Awakening as well. All right. I called it the Great Collapse on Inspired Evolution on Amrit's show. But even with Neptune going retrograde, I think that I said this in 2 live streams ago. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of deception revealed, right? And we've seen it. And I have friends who actually, they go through like 4, 5, 6 news sites because their intuition tells them, okay, this is not resonating with me. I'm going to try this one. Okay, this isn't right either. This isn't right either. So I think that a lot of people are starting to see that it's becoming harder and harder to be. It's a lot of the sources that you're getting information from are just, unreliable. And that's why I say trust your intuition, because I'm not saying all the information is unreliable. It's just, it's gotten to a point where things are just getting a little like fun in a weird way, where you're going to have to, things are testing your intuition. Okay. And so let's really work on that. And yeah, we'll talk about, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some updates on some predictions that I've made that have come true, some other ones that have come in. There's a lot. And yes, just a really quick Great Awakener update. Yes, the site. Oh my goodness. My new site, there's been some major progress. And this is why, again, everything I see, where it may be in the moment, there may be something that happens unexpectedly. It could feel like a tower moment, but I always see them as blessings in disguise. There's something you've got to learn. There's something you were meant to see. And it has turned into something, this website, right? My new site, The Great Awakener, it's turned into something bigger than I thought it would be. And in other words, the developers, everyone that's working on it, are going above and beyond. And it's been just magical to the point of tears. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to show you. It will be ready. I don't want to give you a specific date because Mercury is retrograde, but it'll be ready and soon, very, very soon, unless something goes sideways. So knocking on wood, but I believe that I've gone through that already. So I can say that, yeah, it will be ready. And just again, the thing that I'm really excited about is all the extra things that we're able to incorporate for you. All right. So that's what I'm really excited about. And yes, it will be longer predictions. And as you know, and I'll even give you examples of some things that I'm going to mention here. And then yes, the deep dives into like channeled messages and the remote viewing that I do, that now I have a space for it on the Great Awakener because there are things that I can't discuss here, and we all know why. Okay. And yes, I told you that I would be teaching astrology and tarot, divination, how to trust your intuition to the point where you can do what I'm doing. And that's the thing. When I say trust your intuition, when you are connecting with your intuition, your higher self, you become invincible, right? You see through any of the deception. You make karmically sound decisions without flinching. That's what I'm excited to do and get you to that point. And that's what I've been, this site is for anyway. This YouTube channel is to inspire you, empower you, and help you develop your intuition and really trust yourself and be your authentic self. And there are now full-on syllabuses that I've made for some of these classes. I'm just so excited. So yeah, I'm very excited. And remember, it's all live streams. And that's something else I'm really excited about because it's never been done. It's like this first of a kind, website where it's all live streams because I really do believe in the power of connection. I love that's the thing. I speak with you, not at you, right? I engage, and I love that. And again, just you being here with me, being part of my journey, and just you allowing me to be part of your journey as well. Like, it really is meaningful to me. All right. So just very, very, very excited. Okay. And yeah, we will discuss like birth charts, all of that. But I will make a bigger announcement closer to the date on everything that is going to be available, because there's some things that's going to be rolling out after it launches, just not maybe like a week or 2 weeks later. And so again, because Mercury's retrograde, I'm just going to hold off on that. Now, the other thing is that let's dive in. Well, you want to dive in? Let's dive in. Okay, so I just realized this is Uranus on my ascendant. I didn't bring anything to drink. I have a little bit of my protein shake. So how are y'all doing? Oh my goodness. It is so great to see it. I have to look down here. A lot of these questions that, yes, I'm going to answer them. Roberta, you asked any good news channeled for the collective. Yep, I've got some great. Okay, so let's do this. So, all right, predictions. I want to remind you that I have hundreds of pages of predictions, and I have my notebooks. I've hundreds of pages here, and so this is one example of what I say. Like, you even see here, like, just you've seen all my notebooks. This is one example for the Great Awakeners. Like, when I give you predictions here, I don't give you all of them. there's just so many, right? And then there's many other reasons why, but we won't go into that. And so one prediction that came true, I put in my Instagram story because it was Hulk Hogan. I think that we heard that he passed. So he actually came up and there we go. There's the, I love that. So that was on my Instagram story. And you remember, I take photos of every page. So it's time-stamped, everything. And they're all here. And I bring up the pages anyway. But yeah, so he came up in one of my channel sessions. And I think I explained sometimes there's so many pops that come through. I just have to write them really fast. Sometimes I don't have time to see what's happening, but that was that. And it's, again, it's just like nothing. I just wouldn't want to do that on this channel when we're talking about the celebration of someone's life, right? So again, things that are going to be more on the Great Awakener, okay? And that's another thing. If something happens, then, you know, maybe I usually follow me on Instagram, and that's where in my stories, because I just never really want those living permanently on, you know, so it's just 24 hours. So I always put them in my stories. And then I think that, oh, and a big one. Yeah. You heard, so July 19th, that's when, I forget the actual name of it. I got to look it up. And that's how, remember, July's been bonkers for me. Bonkers. So I haven't had a lot of time, but July 19th, they did the Genius Act when they announced the new currency for the US. That's going to be, was it stable coin? And so I made that prediction, and y'all know this, way back in August 2024. And I brought it up many other times, okay? And so that's also something that I was the first, like nobody else had seen that, and there's nothing, and it wasn't even like, this was in August. It wasn't, I don't even know if we knew if there was a candidate for a certain party. I gotta look back at it, but I mentioned this in August, and if you've been a subscriber since last year, you know that. And then I brought it up again, that the currency, a lot of things. And then I wrote, there's something here about June 10th. There was something on June 10th that I brought up. But I think Brad made a reel. Let's play that reel. And then I think there may be something that has to do with finances, the financial system. I did see like holes in paper bills. So there may be something there to watch out for. There may be some activity. Okay. So just keep that in mind. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing, but I'm just saying that when you see holes in money, there may be something there where just stay tuned in, okay, to your frequency, to your intuition. I talked about there's going to be really big changes with the economy, especially with the US. Get ready. I saw dollars burning, but I saw other things. That's the one thing that I put out there. I did talk about is it June? I got to look at the date of the video. It's either June or July of 2024, where I did tell you that buckle up, the economy is going to change, money is going to change, all the finance, that's going to change. You remember me saying that, okay? I brought it up many other times. Okay, I put that in your consciousness to let you know. So when it does happen, you're not like, okay, that is why I do this. So I think that I even told you one of the things I saw was like money burning, but I saw a lot of other things. I don't tell you everything, but you see what's happening, right? You see there is big change. There's this, it's global. I don't think I did in this live stream, but I did
last one and the last one and the one before and the one before, and even I think the very first predictions video I did, that was the first thing that I mentioned was when we get to this point. So there are going to be, remember, there's a lot of different structures that are shape transforming. There, remember, there's going to be some breakdowns for breakthroughs, and yes, you're going to see some changes. Okay, this month, more in July, but that's what I'm saying. There's gonna be some things breaking down for that breakthrough, and it's all for the greater good. It's all for the greater good. So don't fear it. I mentioned gold, right? And I did write down some numbers with it. And I was like, I don't know what this means. And it was like, whoa, that was the first time I saw that. That was really amazing. That was really amazing. Thank you so much, Brad. But there you go. There's the and there was another clip that I didn't send Brad, but I did say like the currency. I did, or did I say that? I don't know. Anyway, there you go. Now you know. But the other thing I was going to say that I didn't send Brad, I should have done this, but again, Mercury retrograde and Uranus on my ascendant. It was on June 10th, and I do believe I told you this. But there was oh gosh, that would June. Okay, yes, here it is. So on June 10th, and you know what? We'll do this more on my other site, because this is where it, I don't know if I like, this isn't the place, but there is some stuff that did come up in terms of like the history, the Treasury Department, things like that. Okay, so we'll talk about that more. But I did. Now I remember, actually, I did put that on my Instagram in a story. All right, so there you go. There you go. And again, that wasn't even a thing back then. So this is to expand your consciousness, to let you know where we're headed, and to let you also know this is how much I trust the source, the information that I get when I channel. All right. And my own like psychic pops and whatnot. And when they come up that often, it just means it's on a higher frequency in terms of the possibilities, right? I've talked about that. There are certain frequencies, some predictions, maybe like a 5 out of 5, where I'm just like, I don't know if I'll tell, but if it comes up again and again, or if it's just at a strong frequency, yet like I know. There's another thing I really wanted to talk about, but I'm going to save that for the next live stream but I just wanted to tell you, I did, and I will go deeper into this, but I did tell you that, oh my gosh, it was a couple live streams ago where I talked about 3 different officials talking about certain weapons we have and that exist. And you may see them soon. Okay, just letting you know. All right, nothing to fear. I'm just saying it may be coming into your consciousness. That's it. Just showing things being shown off. Anyway, I also said many times, pay attention to the skies. And I said there's got to be a lot of things. Remember, I even told you about the drones, the orbs, before they even happened back last year. All right, there's mysterious orbs coming from the oceans, right? So that live stream, I think I said pay attention to the skies. Okay, but when I say the skies, I also mentioned a couple things that have to do with things that we have never seen before, things that are a little bit more higher in the skies. And I'm sure you've heard of I think they're calling it 3-eye atlas. Yeah, that object that people are saying it's a meteor, even though it doesn't really, act like one. I mean, its tail faces the sun or something like that. But you've heard of this, right? Remember, we've had so since 2018, we've had, this is the third, that's why it's called 3I. This is the third interstellar object that has entered our solar system. And it is very different from the other two. And it's again, there's so much misinformation or fear mongering with it, but there is also the facts. And the facts of the matter is it was actually discovered by these astronomers at, I forgot where they're it's an actual observatory days before it. And so there's a lot of anomalies. There's a lot of strange things about it that make it not a meteor. But it is heading toward us. It's not going to be that close. So don't, I mean, I think it's going to be like close to Mars, or already has been. Again, bonkers month, Mercury retrograde, Uranus on my ascendant. I haven't had time to research any of this, but I think there are some clips, maybe. Well, I did say we're going to have strange weather. I said, pay attention to the weather, right? I said, pay attention to the weather. I said, also pay attention to the skies. I did see, and because there's also stuff in here, I'm like, what does that even mean? I did see, yeah, a lot of like, yeah, a lot of, you know, things in the sky again.
Now entering the solar system, chat, is 31 Atlas. This is it right here. Just popped up on astronomers' radar a few days ago, thanks to the Atlas Planetary Defense System. It is still a blurry dot in the sky, but the early data is suggesting that this thing could be miles wide. The good news for Earth, 31 Atlas is not coming anywhere near us. This is the trajectory right here. It's kind of close to Mars, but not really. But it's still pretty far away from Earth. Researchers say it'll swing by the sun at about twice our distance. That's going to happen right around Halloween.
Grab the first images of 3I Atlas, and even though this object definitely appears to be a comet, looks can be deceiving because, as you can see from this particular footage, human-made objects can sometimes look very comet-like indeed. And once again, even though the mainstream media and the mainstream scientific community isn't advertising this very much, this particular comet is behaving very strangely indeed. And every new observation that we make of this object, we learn something new that only deepens the mystery of this object and makes some people wonder whether or not it might be here by design.
Yo, I'm seeing that at the first time as you are. Isn't that cool? Thank you, Brad. That is amazing. But yeah, that's another thing. And we'll talk more about it. We'll talk more about it. Listen, it's not, we'll talk more about it. Yeah. When because I don't want to take up all the time because there's more to go over. Okay. But if you have any questions or comments about anything that I'm mentioning now, leave them in the comments and I'll answer your questions. Of course I'll answer your questions. Whether it has to do with a crypto, the stable coin, or, you know, this or anything else. Now, one last thing that I really wanted to just bring up because, well, you know, I did. Well, okay, two things. One is, let's okay. The biggest thing is, like, everyone is talking about that Megaquake. I think they're giving it a name. I don't know what but the earthquake that I called out back in August. So the reason why I really want to clarify things is because Mercury is retrograde. But my prediction on this Megaquake tsunami, as again, if you've been a subscriber, you know I mentioned it last year. And so I've seen it, and I think that I had even told you that I was pulled underwater many times. And I think and so it is still happening, right? And we can go through and I'm sure maybe Brad did one on this too, but the reason why I'm bringing this up is because there was, I think, a manga artist that made headline news about saying something, the same thing. Okay, so remember, I called this out back last year before this manga artist even became a thing. But then also, this is where what I see and what I've seen when I told you around July 3rd to July 9th, that is when I saw the cracks in the earth underwater on the seafloor. And I said, that's around the time where I couldn't even explain it. I just saw all these cracks happening, which were going to lead up to it. So they're kind of, it's like that's what's leading up to this big mega quake that's going to happen. And what's really crazy about this is that, and again, remember, I said this is Asia, Japan. I said Korea, like all over there, but also I've been talking about the West Coast and the water and the tsunami and all of that that's happening there. Alaska, that's another prediction that came true that recently happened, and that's not done, by the way. And so what's really crazy, all this, and I guess that would be seismic activity. I don't know. I'm not a geologist. I'm not an earthquake expert. I tell you what I see. But again, I've said this since last August, and I brought it up many times since last August. So I was the first to call this out before it became a thing. And the reason why it's now kind of something that we should pay attention to is because ever since then, the data is there now. So there are geologists, there are earthquake experts who are now saying, oh, actually, look at the swarms over here. Look at this. This is not normal. And so the data is now coming out as of this month. And that is what makes it more of a reality of what I saw back in August, is that now you're seeing the data. You're seeing actual, real, genuine scientists and geologists showing you the evidence. And there's so much to it that, again, we just don't have the time here. There was even, I think that I said on Amrit's show, remember when I was a guest on Inspired Evolution, and so I didn't want to give you the predictions that I was giving there, but there was, if you go back to that, I did even say you're gonna see big earthquakes in Indonesia, China, Turkey, Russia, and even Hawaii. I said those specifically, and I can even show you in my book from that time when I said those. And just within the past few weeks alone, it has been Indonesia, China, Russia that had big earthquakes. And Hawaii, I think, and that's the thing, I don't sit there and Google things, but when I came across something like, wait a minute, I called all those countries back in April. All right. So I think Hawaii was under tsunami watch from one of the earthquakes, but I would just have to find, I know I bookmarked it because, again, hundreds of pages here of, it's kind of crazy. Here it is. You know what? This is back when I was using the normal pen. You see all that, right? So that was April 22nd. I don't know if you can see all that. Oh, and you see I wrote Jordan too. That was for another thing that I'll talk about. But yeah, so just letting you know, all the evidence is there now for earthquake clusters that are happening and all the seismic activity, the data, the science. These are, I think, I don't, and again, don't quote me on this, Mercury retrograde, but it's either double or triple the typical earthquake activity that either these countries have or we've had around the world this summer. But again, like, this is how much I trust the information that I get. And the reason why I say I'm at 100% accuracy is because it is a fact. I'm not saying that because I'm saying like I'm the best or whatever. There's other psychics like me that are just like that too. Okay. But I'm just letting you know, this is the information I receive, and I send it to you to again, help let you know these are possibilities. This is raising your consciousness. Okay. And I think, Brad,
cool. I got the message. We are running out of time. There's, I saw really big explosions. I saw lava, missiles, which is weird. That was surprising to me. As well as I wrote down a couple countries. I wrote down, and this, by the way, well, the things that I'm telling you now, just so people know, was April 19th, okay? And so I did write down Indonesia, China, Turkey, Russia, Hawaii.
oh, shoot. Sorry, I had to get some water. Oh my gosh, got caught in the act. All right, thank you, Brad. That was amazing. Okay, so yeah, I think that it's just something to keep your eyes out on. And again, it is going to happen. So now that you know, how will you prepare? And when we have time, I will, again, I think I mentioned that I'm not like a prepper. I don't know how any of that works, but I'll research it and I'll look into it for you too, as well, if you live in any of those areas. But again, it's just something to be mindful of. That's gonna, should something like that happen, it will affect us too. You got to think about like, trade and the economy, things like that. Anyway, like, we'll go deeper into it when the Great Awakener, my website's up, we will have a lot more time. But yes, so just putting it out there, this is happening, okay? And the reason why I want to clarify this is because I've seen so many doom scrolly videos about this. And as you know, like, I don't do that. I don't do doom scroll. I mean, like, if you want me to do a title that's doom scrolly, it's not me. That's not me. I don't do doom scroll thumbnails. I don't do any of that. You're gonna see it on other people's, so they get the clicks and stuff. But I don't want you to fear it. I want you to know that, again, timelines do change. Okay. Some may be a little bit harder to change, but the energy you want to put out there is more positive rather than like, okay. And again, we can walk through that at another time. I also even talked about the New Zealand earthquakes. Okay. This was a while ago. I think I told you about earthquakes in Mexico, to expect that, or a tsunami. I have it all written down. And these live streams that I do are my receipts. I've said these publicly. And I think there were recent earthquakes in New Zealand recently. I don't know about Mexico. But I'm looking into the future. I see into the future. And again, this goes way back to August 2024, where I've talked about this megaquake in the Pacific. And so just know nothing has changed with my predictions. All I know is that when I said July 3rd, I think I gave dates like July 3rd to the 8th. That's when I started seeing what I would assume are the ruptures. I said cracks, and I also talked about something else. I think I told you about that. The what I could only explain as like a black hole underwater, but we can talk about that later. And oh yeah, I think I brought up Colombia at some point. I brought up Jordan. You saw that, right? And you saw that I put a question mark. I was like, why is Jordan coming up here? And it has to do with so remember how, again, the nuclear stuff that happened with those two countries, okay, that you saw me on my live stream predict, and a month later it happened. Yeah. So now I know why Jordan was brought up. Okay. All right. Now, one other thing I wanted to clear up, because Mercury's retrograde, and I just don't want anyone to get confused with what I said. I wrote down August 5th, August 19th for, I think I mentioned it was a housing collapse. Now, I don't know if that's the correct term, but it is what I wrote down. It could be a housing correction, but there's something with housing. Okay. And that's going to be in August. All right. And I don't know, Brad, did you do anything there?
I wrote down housing collapse 8/5 8/19. I couldn't really, but it was maybe even between those dates. And then a bunch of numbers that I don't even know at this point.
Thank you. So, Brad, that's amazing. You're so amazing. So yeah, that was, again, remember that interview aired in May, but we did the interview in April. Okay. So there may be some things there. And then the last thing, I don't know if, okay, so I don't know if you remember. I remember there was a live stream that I did when I was asking y'all, and like, was there a bridge collapse? Because I had written it down and many weeks had gone by before, I had come back for a live stream. But it was also when I talked about the dams. I talked about the dams in China that I saw collapsing. And I just saw another thing on that recently. I don't know if Brad did anything. Brad, did you do anything for that? Oh, amazing. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So the Three Gorges Dam, I guess it's called. There's some activity there. Okay. That's so obviously, that every live stream I've talked about the floods. And I talked about the floods, especially in the US. So there's gonna be a lot of floods. Floods. And that's the other thing. When I was pulled underwater, that's when, oh my gosh, I'm trying to look for the actual thing, but okay. But yeah, so China, the reason why I'm bringing up that prediction of the dams is because I'm going to give you new predictions, and it does include China. But does anybody have any questions so far about anything? And if you do, and I think Brad's going to be taking your questions or writing them down, but I know that I had something here. Again, this is just me coming out of Uranus on my ascendant kind of moment that was not fun. Anyway, let's just keep going. Okay. The other thing is, all right, let's do some predictions. All right, I'm going to tell you a couple things, right? So, I wrote them down, and it was May 12th that I talked about a shooting, right? I don't know if that happened. I mean, I know there's been a bunch, but I think that I said I couldn't tell if it was like at a church or a school. I saw the sign. It was a red sign, gold sign. And then just recently, I'm going to give you some new predictions, but I'm going to give you, oh my gosh, I've had so many that I told you about the hurricanes, right? They're going to be strong this year, and I think that hurricane season starts next month. So when I get more, and yeah, of course Florida will be, so just keep that in mind. Okay, now you know it might be a little bit stronger. And then also what else? Oh gosh, there's something I really want to tell you. I'm going to wait for the Great Awakener. But it does have to do. There's a lot of things that have to do with some things that are just. I talked about DNA, right? Chromosomes, DNA, chromosomes. Okay, we'll talk about that in the Great Awakener, but just bring that into your consciousness right now. And then I am not a financial advisor, and you know that, but I think that I mentioned I talked about gold, physical gold, maybe, that could be a thing. And that I did write down 4.44. I didn't know why. And so I was talking to a friend, and I think that it's the price it's going to get there. So, hey, there you go. There's something great for you to see. And because of this conversation I had with a friend, I actually did look into it, and it had the price of gold went up 21% since January. That's something that I wrote down. So you see that it keeps going up and up. Of course, it's going to have dips like everything else. I think I figured out Missouri. So if you're a subscriber, you've been with me for a while, you know that I've brought up Missouri a lot. I never knew why. Missouri and Michigan kept coming up a lot. So did Alaska, but now we know. Yeah, there's something else there, by the way, Juno. But Missouri, two things about it. And this is me doing my research. This is me getting all, Mulder and Scully. Sorry, my head is really close to the camera. So the first thing is that Missouri is where they did send the to that country missiles. That's where it came from, Missouri. Okay, so I think that's maybe why, but I have to dig deeper into my notes because there's so many things that connect. It's just bonkers. All right, the second thing is, and this just came up one day, and it does have to do with earthquakes. And so the reason why I think, and I just don't know, but I did some research on this, and apparently there was a really big earthquake about 100 years ago where the Mississippi River flowed backwards for a little bit because of that earthquake. I think it was in the mid 1800s. It was in Missouri. And so bringing that to mind, let me just look at my notes here. I brought up Michigan a lot. Okay, so since last year, and I think we've identified that's where I think that I said that the connection between these two states and even Alaska, we had military bases and even underground basis. But I just noticed in the news that Michigan is where they announced that they're going to put the new fighter jets there or something like that in Michigan. And then, you know that I've talked about the Grand Canyon many times. Remember when that person was watching me while I was remote viewing and I had to flip into a different timeline where where it was a different him that didn't, and it was, you can go back to that live stream. Very interesting. First time it's ever happened to me. But yeah, I don't know. That's all I'm saying. I know that Tennessee has been having a little bit of tremors. There was something around that time. So all I'm saying is that there may be something. It's called the New Madrid Fault. There may be something there. I can dig deeper into it, but there is a reason why that they're like, this guy just kept showing me the Grand Canyon and the water levels. So who knows? Who knows? I'm not saying anything's going to happen, by the way. I'm just saying that I'm bringing this into your consciousness that maybe there will be a little bit more tremors and things like that. Okay, nothing to be. If there was something big like the Megaquake that's happening in the Pacific, I'll let you know. But I'm not. I think this is me just trying to connect dots. And then I think that, yeah. Remember, a lot of dates have come up for me. A lot of years come up. And sometimes I just don't have time to always go back and look at the years and what happened that year. But I'm going to show you something real quick. Well, remember how the year 1867 kept coming up? And I finally looked into it, and that's when Kansas had the largest earthquake. All right. And then 1863 came up a lot. As you know, that came up a lot. And just in my last session, the 1869 came up a lot. Where are we here? All right. How do I do this? It came up a lot, and it's come up a lot in previous. You can see here, even 1869. Yeah, it keeps coming up, and so why don't we do this? Why don't I give you a couple of these? But just to let you know that there's a couple things that you know that happened around that time, right? So I told you about the world leaders, how world leaders are going to be changing, and how there's going to be a lot of shifts with the world leaders. And I'm going to talk more about that in another live stream, okay? And you're even seeing it, by the way. You're even seeing it. You're seeing senators come on YouTube and have YouTube channels. You're seeing a lot. You're gonna see, it's all gradual, right? I've talked about a lot of these shifts that are happening with, just the energy shifts of the earth. Okay, the electromagnetic field. We've talked about this. There's just so much to go over. We just don't have all that time. But let me give you a couple more newer predictions other than those. Okay, you can see that yeah, okay, so can't really read my handwriting, but this was from January 25th. You can see I said the hurricane system, southeast. I don't know what that word is. Remember, I'm in a deep trance and I'm writing, and I feel like writing things out. So, okay, now, this was yesterday. I did just a very quick session. Again, you see 1869 coming up. A lot of old photos of people came up, okay? And there was something that here, I don't know if you can see a 1917. It was like a Native American chief that I wrote down, and it was, they found something, okay? In, it looks like New Mexico, and it was like a cave entrance. It was like in a canyon. And so again, more maybe Grand Canyon stuff. I don't know, but there was something there that was interesting. And I don't under so okay. This is when things get a little bit. So you can see here I wrote plane, there will another year, plane, wing, sky. I could like I just put UAP because I don't know why. I was in the sky, okay? And it was as if I was sitting on a plane, looking out the window of a plane, and I saw the wing of a plane. I have no idea why. I wrote, I don't understand. I don't understand what they were trying to tell me. Oh, so you see 1869 again. But that vision kept coming up of a plane, being on a plane, seeing something in the sky. There's stuff here that, yeah, we will. Oh, orca, whale, killer whale. There's something here in Florida, by the way. I couldn't, you see, I wrote sunset horizon, ocean horizon, orange, Florida, 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 Florida. So something there. There's something that we'll talk about on the Great Awakener that has to do with some files. Okay, the person behind it. And that is just not normal. What I saw, and I am definitely not talking about here, but yeah. Oh, here. Oh, I even wrote not normal. Limestone Mountain, Arizona, Grand Canyon. You see 1860, but there you go. There's another, that cave thing came up again. Something's there that we don't know about. This was very interesting. Well, I don't know if I'm not gonna this was very interesting. Oh yeah, the thing about China. So China, I wrote down cyclone, water, question mark, like, so yeah, you see I wrote down some like places as well. That came up again. Cyclone, China. Hammer came up for some reason. Oh shoot, there's some stuff here you shouldn't be seeing. Yeah, 1863, 1867. You see 1867 is coming up a lot. 1869 is coming up a lot. Johannesburg, Cape Town, South Africa came up. Okay. New Brunswick, New Jersey. I didn't know if it was a weather event that came up. Places come up like that. And then there was something I don't really understand this. It's, you see something is missing, like Facebook. I didn't know if it was like a stock. I don't know what it was, but there was something there that wasn't right. Yeah, you can see here, and I am never going to do this again using a black marker on the other side of on the same page, because it bleeds through that page. Never going to do that again. But you see, I wrote his name down, and then I said something's not right. It's showing me money thing, money. I even wrote down Target. I don't know if that's a stock thing. Again, I'm not a, and then even Toyota said there may be something with Target and Toyota in the news or in Yeah. I think this is a crypto thing, XRP. Yeah. Okay. I wrote down, I know you can barely read my handwriting. That says max and then value. And then you see red flash. I saw a red flash. I don't know the crypto world. I also wrote down there, maybe a water shortage. Okay. Minimize, like maybe there's, yeah. And then you see, I wrote down maybe 2 months. I think that's August 7th, September 2nd. Yeah. And then there's other stuff that we'll talk about with the Great Awakener. But here's the thing. There's the what's happening here is that there's some years that come up and continue to come up, and it's the same years from different from different sessions. And like here, look, you remember that? So 1867 up here, and this was, that was back in June. That was June 27th. So yeah. So there's a couple there. Again, there's just too many. I'm gonna have to just do like back to back, like give you, because you asked about good things for the collective conscious, and yes, there's great things. And it is, I think the best thing to tell you right now is just trust your intuition. That is the best thing to tell you right now. And know, when I say everything is happening for the greater good, it is. Even if it feels like it's not, okay? Because I did say there's gonna have to be some breakdowns for us to have that breakthrough, all right? Things are on way extreme sides of the spectrum. But things are leading to a place where it's gonna be, we'll talk about it. I'm trying to see if there's anything else here that I'm just gonna show you one page. Here's the thing, and remember, when I do these deep dives, a lot of the things that I'm saving for the Great Awakener, when I have my own site, is I can tell you a lot of these things where I'm a little bit more free to speak. But I do want to remind you, you have to be at least medium awake. Okay. I would even say, like, on a scale from 1 to 10, at least a 6, because some things that I'm going to say are like, your consciousness may not be ready for it. So, and I know that a lot of y'all are. I know, and that's the thing. I know, like, a good person, 99% of y'all are. So, but I'm just reminding you, because there's some things that I have seen that I couldn't even believe, and I am so, you know how open-minded I am, and you know how, yeah. So it's just, but when you see it a couple times, it takes some time. It takes time to absorb it, and it can be hard to believe for some time, but it is what it is. And again, I am just the messenger. I'm just going to be relaying the things that I see and the things that I'm told. It's not my opinion. It's not any, remember, any of these predictions or channeling or remote viewing that I do, all of it is for the greater good. All of it is heart-based. It is coming from my heart. It's coming from my connection with the divine, not from ego, okay? It's going to always be unbiased. And I just want to make that very clear. I'm not trying to make you think a certain way. I'm not trying to make you pick a side. I don't want that. I'm here to help. I'm here to make everyone see each other as human beings again. Okay? Not anything else. And so it just might be a little bit getting used to some of the things and the deeper in those right sessions. But yeah, okay. So I think that's good. Just, to recap, I think the major things we discussed, I think we discussed the major things. I just wanted to make it clear and just wanted to bring it back to your attention that, I did call out the financial system all the way back in August 2024, how that's going to change. Currency is going to change, dollars burning, right? So that has now, you see, is becoming reality as of July 19th with the announcement. Yeah. Okay. Same thing with the Megaquake, the earthquake, the big one that I saw in the Pacific that's going to have an impact on the West Coast of the US, a lot of Asian countries as well. Okay. That I called back in August before even the manga artists, before anything else. And even I just showed you back in April, certain countries that were going to have big earthquakes, they all have happened in the past 2 weeks. And the data and science is there now. Okay. So just wanted you to know this is how much I trust my sources. And I'm never going to try to sway you another way. I'm never going to try to doom scroll anything or make you fear anything. I'm expanding your consciousness. I'm saying, hey, there's some things that are going to be happening, and I'm here for you. Okay. I'm here for you. Anything you need. I'll look into some other stuff. I need to take some time. I need to take some time researching, but also a little bit of time for myself for a little bit. That's the other thing. I'm unfortunately not going to be able to do your forecast for next week, but you have your your August forecast for the month. And I spent a lot of time on the first week anyway. So just refer to that. And I will also be doing, I haven't decided what I'm doing yet, but I'll still do something on Wednesday for you. Okay. Like a live stream, maybe Wednesday and Thursday. I'm thinking maybe we'll focus on the full moon in Aquarius that's going to be coming up that week. So I'll still have content for you. Yeah. And it'll be live streams, so you can join. All right. But I just, again, I unfortunately I will not have the time to do, because it takes a lot of time to do 24 videos in a week. And that's all 12 signs, but also the bonus videos, 12 signs for the, bonus videos for tier 3 members. And there's a lot of research, and there's a lot of like behind the scenes that goes into putting together everything for every sign. So I just need to take a little bit of time off for me just to do my physical therapy, to, be in a good place. I hope you're okay with that. But I will do a live stream. Yeah. So we'll still do a live stream on Wednesday and maybe Thursday too. Okay. And and they'll be fun. We'll make sure that you get a lot out of it for all 12 signs. Okay. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Because I'm here for you. Let me know what let's hear your questions. and remember, I have to look down at the laptop because it's plugged into like a million things here. And I can't like bring it up. I can try. Yeah. All right. So, okay. I get to see your comments. How are y'all doing? Marty, love you too. Okay. So, if you have any questions, Marshall, thank you so much for the super sticker. I hope you're doing well. Chic Fit Glow. Member for 3 months. Yes. Thank you so much. We're in this together. Thank you, Jimmy. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Well, I really appreciate you. And thank you so much for being here. And again, I'm sorry that I've been MIA for a little bit. I also have the air conditioner blasting at me. That's why my voice is a little like, "Ooh." It's like right over there. I should have turned it off. Marty, member for 19 months. You're amazing. Thanks so much. Y'all are amazing. Oh my goodness. It is so good to see everybody. I love that, Carrie, you're talking about Tomorrowland in Belgium. That's amazing. I got to go check that out. And Liz, you said, ancient civilizations have prophecies about these times, like the Mayans, Mexica, Aztecs, Hopi, and Sumerians, to name a few. Yes. Thank you so much for pointing that out. I will talk a lot about these ancient civilizations and their, prophecies and their predictions and how they saw divination and a lot, their cultures on the Great Awakener as well. But you're absolutely right. I've said 2025 to 2027 are the most important years, the most pivotal years of this decade. But from this point until 2032, big change. All right. Really big change. And we'll talk about it. And you know what? Maybe we will this Wednesday. Okay. We'll talk about it. There's going to be some things that happen. Again, I don't do world astrology. I don't do mundane astrology here on this channel. It wasn't built for that. It was for your horoscope, your personal horoscopes, right? Your forecasts for all 12 signs. And that's very different from world astrology. But yeah, maybe I'll do something there to give you a preview of the world astrology, mundane astrology I'll be doing on the Great Awakener. But yeah, a lot of it has to do with I gotta turn off this air conditioner real quick. Okay, thank you. Oh my gosh, do you see the wires being snagged by the chair? You know what, let me just unplug this. I think that's just, oh wait, is that gonna okay, I won't. So let me see if I can. Anyway, welcome to Uranus on my ascendant while Mercury's retrograde. So what I was going to say is, yeah, maybe we will talk about, I was talking about Mars and Libra. Yeah, that has a big impact on the world. Okay. We'll talk about that. Remember, we're still in the Mars-Saturn cycle. Yeah. And so we do have that opposition that will be happening. There's a lot of things in August that, again, yeah, world astrology we'll do on the Great Awakener, but maybe this week, maybe I'll bring up a couple things, but I'll still talk about everyone's signs. Like we'll do something. We'll do like a breakdown, okay? Of maybe the first week. Maybe there's some other things that we'll bring up too. Let me give it some thing, but I definitely don't want to leave you. I'm gonna leave you something. Yeah, I'm gonna leave you something. So we'll do that. And then I think what would that be? July 30th? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So set your calendars. We'll do one. Yeah. Maybe around noon. One. I'll send you an update. I'll do a community post. Yeah. But Liz, yeah, great for bringing that up. And you're absolutely right. Let me see. Snuffleupagus, Snuffleupagus fan. Will the protest in Georgia ever give them the revolution they need? I think I missed. Oh, you said Serbia. Oh, I see. I'm going back. You're talking about Serbia having a huge revolution. Well, Uranus is in Gemini. Well, you also have to look at a lot of like different charts. Like, you know, we're obviously like the US is going through its Uranus return. 2027, we really want to look at next year, actually 2026 ish. Anyway, you're just remember a lot of things. Again, this is why this is so important for you for this summer, right? Because of the retrogrades that are happening. So Saturn and Neptune and Uranus, they're all going back to the signs they were in. You're just getting a glimpse of 2026, February 2026 and beyond. Remember, Uranus is going back into Taurus. That is going to happen. I think it's October, November. But Saturn is moving back into Pisces, which you've been experiencing for the past 2 years. That'll happen in September. Neptune is going back into Pisces as well. I think that is October. And so there's a little bit of, we're getting a glimpse of what's to come 2026 and beyond. But there's a lot of just October, November. Yeah. A lot of those planets back in, Uranus was in Taurus for 7 years, right? And it's gonna go back there for a couple more months, just for you to just, he's doing a little check-in. That's all. But you're gonna see, and again, everyone on this planet, you're all gonna go through major change. You're all gonna go through major change. And you already have. A lot of y'all already have. And so it's almost just like this really nice chill out review point, just really getting your ducks in a row for these bigger changes that you may be preparing for. Maybe it's a big move. Maybe you're, starting a family. It's a very interesting year, but August will be bonkers. Okay. Bonkers. But everybody is going to be having wonderful new changes in your lives. Pamela, newbie here, grateful. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Karen, it's so great to see you. Thank you so much. All of y'all. Oh my gosh. Summer, you asked any concerns about Cairo, Egypt. I have family there, and they have been through so much with leadership changes, turmoil. I worry about Ethiopia closing off the huge dam that feeds Sudan and Egypt. So I think you're going to see a lot of changes. I think I told you what's happening in the Middle East, and even, like you can like Egypt and Northern Africa and whatnot, but you don't even have to isolate it there. It's like everything that's happening there is connected to like the UK, to Europe, to the US, to the, you know what I mean? So there's going to be some activity that you're going to see. And there's like all over. Okay. Because a lot of, and what's going to happen is like a lot of things are going to, remember how July, right? I feel like there was just so much, you got this, you got that, this came out of nowhere, this happened. Same thing in August, but there may be a little bit more action in August rather than words, if that makes sense. So, so summer, nothing came up for me. But if anything does, I'll let you know. But yes, I would just say, just intuitively, I do feel that there may be some activity there the same way that you're seeing it in a lot of other countries as well. Okay. Y'all are hilarious. Guinevere Electra, you said, can we please get an email letting us know about these lives? I posted it. So always check the community posts because I will always post them in the community posts. Okay. And again, this month has just been like, I don't know if you came in late, but from the beginning, like it is, I didn't even have a July. I had one birthday dinner that I went to. I was in there it was in and out like an hour, but it's just a lot of, being at the computer 16-hour days. There was a week, I think it was a record for me. I think it was like 113 hours I worked in 1 week. But I didn't like, and then like, I'm in physical therapy now. But I'll be fine. Everything is going to be good. But yeah, I think that this live stream, I think I gave a notification a little bit later. Yeah, a little bit later. It would be like one of those last minute live streams. But normally, typically, like you'll see them like at least 2 weeks in advance. Okay. But there will always be in the post. But I don't know your emails. You know what? Actually, when you signed up for the Great Awakener, when you just and that's just for like updates, but if you go to the website now, like greatawakener.com, you can like sign up for like updates or whatever. Then I'll be able to like have that, like, and you'll see I can send out an update on, when it's live and everything. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? I know this is going a little bit longer than before. Jessica, you asked, Jimmy, is there a connection to having Mercury retrograde in your natal chart and having a more chill Mercury retrograde experience? Yeah. So I think I mentioned this in a live stream months ago, but we'll talk more about this and on the Great Awakener on your natal chart. We'll do a lot on your natal so you can be able to read it. But yes, if you have Mercury retrograde, it really just means like any retro, it just means like you handle it better. You do go within, you take that time out to go with. That's what Mercury retrograde's for. That's what it's just really going inward. And so I think I mentioned that having retrogrades in your chart are actually really good. Yeah. So I hope that helps. But again, I can go a lot deeper at a later time, y'all. Oh my gosh, Ellen G. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And again, I'm so sorry. I have to look down. I know the camera's up there, but I have to look down at my laptop. Again, I have to just buy a new computer now to do this, but when that helps, thank you. Looking forward to the new site launching. Thank you. And then Target lover date again. Target lover date. Oh, you're talking about Target. Yeah. It wasn't a date. It was just oh my gosh, what is that? I'm just seeing all these predictions that I made that I didn't even realize were in here. Okay. Yeah. I don't think it was a date, was it? It just came up. Yeah. There it is. Oh wait, make sure. Yeah, okay. And then I didn't know it was part of this whole something was just showing me money, like money stuff. I said, or stock stuff. I did like money thing. It said no, not money. And then Target, and there was an arrow up, but then I wrote down stock question mark, but then and then it immediately went to Toyota. So I don't know. And remember, I don't know anything about stocks or financial markets. I'm just saying there may be news. There may be news. All right. Okay. There may be news. FYI. And that's the other thing is that it just, there are days where I will have it just this flow. There are days things just flash so fast and it's hard for me to just keep up because I want to know what the story is, and I have to ask, can you go back to this? Can you go back to that? But so every session that I have is really different. It really is. Okay, y'all. Ellen, you signed up a bit. No. If you sign up, that's fine. That's fine. Oh, Target live date. Oh my gosh. Is this okay? So this is a little bit of Mercury retrograde. Okay. I'm so sorry. Now this is Mercury retrograde. Uranus on my ascendant. Yes. So for Great Awakener, you said although a lover would be nice too. I love that. It is gonna be mid-August, but I don't want to give you an actual date while Mercury's retrograde. For Great Awakener, it will be mid-August. It's planned for mid-August. We've made sure that it will be ready to go August 4th, just in case there's any troubleshooting, anything that needs to be fixed. We've allowed 7 days for that. Okay. So we really planned ahead to make sure that. So we are actually ahead of track. Like we're not on track, we're ahead of track. So likely August 4th is when it'll be completely done, but we're gonna just to be on the safe side, because Mercury does go direct. I think it's August 10th or something. I made sure that it was just like out of the retrograde. And sure, it's still in Mercury's still in shadow, but remember everything happened like when Mercury went into shadow. So it's totally fine for me to do that as long as I'm out of the actual, window of Mercury retrograde. So, okay. Y'all are so funny. I thought, and there's a good Mercury retrograde moment for you right there. How funny is that? Okay. So, y'all, thank you so much. I'm going to have to go back and, oh my gosh, Carrie, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's so good to see you. This is the most trying Mercury retrograde in the history of retrograde and retrogrades in Mercury. That's yeah. Well, and that's the thing. When I think someone asked about Mercury retrograde in your chart, but what really matters is your chart. Really, it really does matter. And again, you have to think of all the other aspects that are happening too, that can really amplify that can make it really subtle for you. Also depends on your sign. I think I mentioned that. Yeah, I am I'm an Aquarius, but I'm a Gemini rising, Virgo moon. Mercury rules both Gemini and Virgo. So those, if you have any of your top three, right, your sun, moon, and rising, like those are the top three, right? So Mercury rules two of them. And then Mercury, like I said, is a lower octave of Uranus. So you have to equate that. And me being an Aquarius, Uranus is a ruler for Aquarius. So me personally, yeah, Mercury retrogrades really throw me off, but I can handle them well because I'm so used to them, like coming in strong. And it doesn't even affect me to the point, like if let's say my computer was to crash right now, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I got to restart it, and, maybe in the past I would have just been like, what the? So anyway, y'all, y'all are really amazing. Okay. All right, so y'all, oh my gosh, Brian, it's so great seeing you. I didn't even know. Were you here? Have you been leaving comments? I got to go back to it, but because again, the camera's up here, so I can't even look at my screen where I would see your comments here. And so I have to look down at the laptop. So again, thank you. Uranus on my ascendant, Mercury retrograde. Brian, you said my heart was really touched seeing Ruby at physical therapy this week on Instagram. Oh yeah, and thank you for that. She's still going through her therapies as well. We're just a bunch of Virgo South Node, Virgo Moon. She's a Virgo going through that right now. But she's, we're doing our best. That's what I say. We're doing our best. But yeah, she still has to have her therapies, and now she's doing laser therapy. It's red light therapy every day. Or I'm sorry, not every day. Like I think it's 4 times a day. But now on different medications. So that's a whole other thing. But Ruby loves you all, and she's as long as she's literally like just down here by my side. So as long as she's by my side, she's happy. Y'all, okay. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna let you go. This has been a very fun event. We'll do this again Wednesday. Let me figure things out. I'll send you a thing. I'll do a community post, and I'll send you, through the membership portal updates. You'll get a message there as well. So Wednesday, yeah. Let me figure things out first before saying something while Mercury's retrograde. But just let's do Thursday too. Let's do Thursday. Let me look at the dates. Thursday actually might be a better day. And y'all let me know if I do this live Wednesday or Thursday. We could do both. Maybe we'll do both. Yeah, maybe we'll do both. Okay, so just bookmark Wednesday and Thursday. We'll talk about other things that are coming up. Yeah, for the first week of August. Yeah, for every sign. Okay, we'll break it down. You can ask questions. Okay, so we'll do that. And then, but let me just figure things out. And again, I don't want to give you a time. I don't want to give you any of that. It's Mercury's retrograde. Things might change. So let me solidify things. Maybe I'll bring a guest. You know what? I'm going to bring a guest. Let's do that. Let me bring a guest on. Okay. I know what I'm going to do now. See, there you go. Uranus and Gemini breakthroughs of the mind. Yeah. Look how fast that was. Y'all, thank you so much. I got to go. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much for, being patient with me and understanding and all your comments. It's been quite a journey. And I really, really want to, hear from y'all too on things that y'all have been going through, because July has been like bonkers. But I do see your comments that you leave. And again, I'm just very excited for all these new journeys that y'all are on too. It's amazing. Because you're putting yourself on that place. Like I said, taking that inspired action for the summer, for where you want to be February 2026 and beyond. So y'all are amazing. Thank you so much. And I will see you. I'm going to see you this week. I'll see you this week. And I will send you a message in the post. Have an amazing weekend, everybody. All right. Thank you again. I'll see you soon. All right. And I'll send you a message. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.